We're joined by Louis Bernard of security consultants Chrysotech.
Hello.
Thank you for being with us here on France 24.
Of course.
Just want to go over a point in this expose by French broadsheet Le Figaro. Le Figaro reporting intelligence services have established, quote, several hundred targets were engaged in a rather advanced state of compromise. Several hundred targets were more or less compromised by the Chinese. Are you surprised?
I am a little bit surprised about the number of those who have been compromised, but when you think about it, maybe 4,000 to 5,000 people were approached. Let's say half of them do accept those fake profiles as friends, and then maybe 20% of them accept to speak at a conference, and maybe 10% of them are approached when they come back, and you end up with several hundreds of them actually being compromised. Being compromised doesn't mean that they all are sending secrets to Beijing, but
they've all turned.
Yeah, exactly. They have more or less been asked to write stuff or to provide critical information of their place of work or the ministries they're working in or the industries they are working in to Beijing through that scheme, which is massive.
So us lay people from the general public, when we get fooled into giving all our personal data to third parties, we think that somehow, because from watching James Bond movies, that people in the intelligence business are smarter than all that and wouldn't get fooled.
And indeed, they are fooled. Let's say, for example, you receive a friend request on LinkedIn from somebody whose field of work is similar to yours or is of interest to yours. Let's say you don't accept fully to get invited in China because maybe that's a little bit fishy. But just the fact that you've accepted this profile as a friend, when this profile is approaching somebody else, he can say, look, the number of friends I have, which gives solidity to that profile. So in a way, we are helping that guy, that fake person, getting more solidity in their profile, in their cover, in a way.
And Le Figaro's reporting saying that basically they sent out the same message to lots of people.
Oh yes, the amount of engineering in order to start the process is massive. So what they did is that they sent the same message through a robot, to a lot of people, and only when one is actually answering and is actually befriending that person online, does a real officer then get online and try to ask for more information. This idea of sending a real CV when more or less all what you need to know about the person is on LinkedIn is to have access to emails, accesses to phone numbers in order to start digging more.
And sources tell Le Figaro that UK intelligence warned the French years ago. Has there been a failure on the part of the French services? Should they have warned their employees sooner?
No, I would say that the French security services has warned the French public and the civil servants for years. Okay, and this, of course, this happened, but they have been on the lookout for those kind of attacks for years. What is new on the part of the French government, of the French security services right now, is to actually go public on precise names of fake or screen organizations and names of companies that they think are fake and are ways to gain information, so that people read it in the papers and in order to be a better one online. But the French security services have done a lot in order to prevent that for over the years.
Because for years we've seen criticism of the French services for not keeping up with the times when it comes to how would you say, digital spying in all its forms.
Well, I think they kept up with the times because they're using it as well. So everybody is using it. What is unprecedented in that is the scale, the amount of people that was targeted in the last wave of targeting. But first, everybody does it in order to gain access to foreign intelligence or information. And the French are doing it as well. But this is bigger. This is more massive. And you could you could think that somebody is a bit stupid to accept to go to China and spend a week on a beach and give maybe one lecture and then being surprised of being approached when they come back. But you'd be surprised how easily it's done, hint by hint, to get trapped and you have people who are in need of a little bit extra cash, or they want to quit the government job in order to go into the private sector and
or recognition in the workplace.
Exactly.
It's easy to flatter people who feel they're not appreciated at the office.
Let's say your work involves doing a little bit of conferencing, maybe in the south of France, maybe in Italy, and now you are doing a conference in Beijing. It looks nice on your CV, but of course that was a fake conference.
Now, this story in Le Figaro comes hot on the heels of the one that was published a few weeks back by Bloomberg, talking about microchips that were put in all the cell phones, in computers. We've seen then the denials by the likes of Apple and Amazon. Is there a problem that's specific to China, or is this just, as you said, something that everybody's doing?
Spying is done by everybody who can. That's the basis of it. Okay, all the countries who can spy do spy. The difference with China is that it's so massive and I would say very innovative in the ways the spying is done, especially through manufacturing and all this. But again, everybody spies on everyone. That's normal practice. It's only when they get caught that they say that they don't. But you remember I came here talking about the US, who are apparently tapping former President François Hollande's phone a few years ago. Everybody does it.
All right, Louis Bernard, I want to thank you for joining us. Louis Bernard of the security consultants Chrysotech.